So this past weekend, I had a sew along with a group of gentlemen that I sew with. That's a Facebook group. It's called the Canadian Male Quilters. And we're kind of a unique group because we are all males. No ladies allowed. Okay? Sounds like when we were like 10. Okay? With the clubhouse kind of thing. No girls allowed. But, it makes me think, what is it about being a male quilter that's different from being a female quilter? Well, let's first of all start with the most obvious thing. The most obvious thing is that quilting has been for years the domain of the ladies. Of course, that comes historically from the fact that the roles between men and women were very clearly defined within most societies. Women looked after the domestic chores, men went out and looked after bringing the money into the family, looking after their family in terms of being the breadwinners, literally, at one point in time, doing a lot of the outside stuff that needed to be done. So it was basically the woman's domain to look after anything that involved her household. And part of those duties or responsibilities involved, making stuff for the home. So quilts basically were made by women in order to provide warmth and comfort for her children, for her family. And so that's why it became designated a woman's thing. However, as time has progressed, as humankind have, created creature comforts and things that make the daily job of living and providing for your family so much easier. There's been more leisure time, and so quilting, of course, has moved into the crafts as a craft, as a leisure time hobby. Of course, it is still dominated by females, but more and more men are entering into this environment. And all you have to do is do a search on YouTube, and you'll find many videos that feature male quilters. And you will also find listed in Google many men who are designers of quilts, create patterns, run businesses, that kind of thing. So yes, it is no longer just the domain of females. However, there is resentment, I think, in some cases. Now, I'm talking about this from a very personal point of view. I got into quilting only about 4 years ago, and I've never looked back, as you well know. Have I run into resistance? Has it been hard to enter into this world that was, predominantly is associated with females? Yes and no. One thing I found very positive when I walked into my first quilt store, being a complete novice, not knowing anything, I couldn't have found a nicer group of ladies. They were so willing to help. It didn't seem to shock them that a man came in and was looking at sewing supplies for quilting at all. Now, the reason I say that that was surprising is because before I was a quilter, I was a paper crafter. I started out as a scrapbooker, actually. And I remember in the early days, and this is now back about 20 years ago, I'd walk into a scrapbook store when there used to be a lot of those, and I'd get looks. It was almost like one of those old Western movies where you walk in through the saloon doors kind of a thing, and suddenly you hear the music stop, and all eyes turn to you, and the bartender's wiping down the bar, and he's looking at it and go, "You're not from around these here parts, are ya?" And a fight breaks out. Well, yeah, no fight broke out, but that's the way it was in scrapbooking stores because, again, for some reason, paper crafts seem to be the domain of females. Well, they did get over that fairly quickly, especially when, you start showing the money. When you're starting to buy a lot of things, they can't be more than too helpful, or weren't in those days. But one of the things that used to get my goat was you'd walk in, and then they'd look at you, and they'd say, "Can I help you?" And I went, "No, I'm just looking here, for certain things. Are you looking for something for your wife, your girlfriend, your female significant other?" "No, I'm a paper crafter. I'm a scrapbooker." And they would Oh, okay. And it was like suddenly unclean, unclean, don't go near this person. Until, of course, like I said, I started filling up my basket with stuff and they going ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. Money talks. But I never had that reaction when I walked into a quilt store. In fact, there's only been one quilt store where I've ever gotten a little bit of attitude. And it might not have been because I was male. It might have been because this was a local quilt store in an area that, they knew their customer base and I was somebody new and they weren't sure how to handle me. And but they didn't say to me, "Are you buying something for your wife? Can we help you?" They immediately went over and asked if they could help me. And of course, once they realized that I knew where I was and what I was doing, they were fine. And they've been fine since because I've been back to that store several times. But for the most part, I have never ever had a bad experience in a quilt store because I'm male. So that's a good thing. However, having said that, I joined a guild at one point in time. 100 ladies and me. Now, I was excited about joining the guild because, they had guest speakers. I thought I was going to learn a lot, and I was sharing, something that I enjoyed doing with things that other people also enjoyed doing. Yeah, I quickly learned that I was not welcome. Now, that's not to say that every one of those ladies turned on me, but a significant few did. I decided to get really involved with this guild. I wanted to do more. Well, actually, they approached me. They needed somebody to come in and take over the job as secretary on the executive. Well, I've done that kind of thing before in other organizations I've belonged to over the years. So I sort of said, well, okay. I was volunteered for this. And so I went right into the position, and I felt that I was contributing to the group and I want to be more involved, so this was a way to be more involved. Well, I quickly found out that they were not taking any guff from a man. At least that's the attitude they gave me. I wasn't giving them any guff. I was a secretary. I was doing my job. But they didn't think. They didn't like me. That was the attitude I got. They got very upset with me over one little thing that I thought I was doing for the benefit of the guild. And that was one of the first retreats that I ever threw together during COVID as a virtual retreat. It was a free retreat. I was not charging anybody anything. All were welcome. And I thought I would put it out to the members of the guild before I put it out to the general public first. So, because I had a limited number of spaces and, they were the guild. So I thought I was doing something nice for them. No. Few of the members of the executive turned on me. They said I was making money from this. I wasn't. It was costing me money to do it. They were just plain nasty to me. So I resigned from the position of secretary. Actually, they drove me out. To be honest about it, they drove me out. There was a couple of people on there, and, well, I shouldn't use the term, but I will, that were bitches. And they had power tripping ideas. And, get over yourself. It's only a guild. But that was a bad experience. And I won't join a guild again unless it's a guild that has men in it as well. Doesn't have to be exclusively men. Or, as I said, I've joined a group that is nothing but men. Many of the ladies that I have had contact with through retreats and in classes and that are lovely. No problem. Away we go. Although at times they kind of do forget I'm a man, because they start to talk about their husbands and, saying what wives say about their husbands and things. And, hello, I'm here. I am a male kind of a thing. I'm going to defend my brothers because, wouldn't females defend their sisterhood as well? If I, as a male, if I start ranting about women, wow, amongst women, right in the throat, right? However, they don't seem to have a problem with that when I'm sitting there in reverse. I guess it's reverse sexism. Yeah, I know the argument. They say, well, for hundreds and hundreds of years, we've been under the thumb of men, so it's our turn to get back at them. Well, yes and no. Whatever, but that's a discussion for another day, okay? But, I don't say anything when I'm in that environment when they're going on about, what stupid things their husbands have done. I just stay quiet because it's best to keep your head down in those moments. Now, maybe another reason why I have found that it has been more difficult to break into the woman's world is because I think women feel that men are very clumsy around sewing machines. They offer to help you all the time, and that's great. I mean, I think that's wonderful. And there are many times when I need help as well. But I need help from the point of view of one person helping another person, not because they're helping me because I'm male. They're helping me because I'm a new quilter, or I'm new to the technique or something like that, and they have more experience. That's very helpful. But sometimes they want to see you fail so they can swoop in and help you, baby you in a way. I don't need to be babied at all. They accuse men of mansplaining things these days. And yeah, I suppose men do. But I try to not. If someone needs help and I can help them, I will help them. That's the teacher in me. That's what I did for many years as my career. So, I know something about that. But I don't go in and try to treat the individual as an equal, not as somebody who is inferior to me. I can't say always that's the way I've been treated by some ladies, okay? I mean, yeah, they don't do it on purpose for the most part, except the ones in the guild. For the most part, they're just trying to be helpful. And that's what quilters are. Quilters are an extremely friendly and helpful group, I have always found. Whether they're male or female, it doesn't matter. They're just that way. They're always willing to help out someone else. And that's something I like about, getting involved with quilters, is that attitude. So I guess we are here to stay. There are many, many male quilters, and every day it is growing in ranks. Men are getting over the whole idea that this is something only women do, and this is questioning if you want to do this kind of thing. It questions your masculinity. No, it does not. If you're a creative person and this is a way for you to experience or to have a creative outlet, then go for it. There are many men that are knitters and crocheters, and we're very proud of that as well. This is not the domain. The sewing world is not the domain of only women. It's open to all people, no matter what. And I think that's the attitude that is now starting to shape all the creative communities out there, and especially in quilting. It's a sharing of ideas, sharing of inspiration, and it's not based upon sex. It's just based upon people coming together and enjoying each other's company and learning from each other and doing something that they like to do. So ladies, we are here and we're here to stay. And so are you. And that's a good thing.